Hey everyone, it's Spidey here with another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing a tier list. Now, obviously I know that a lot of people have actually been doing tier lists recently, so I thought I would just follow the concept a little bit and see how things go really with this one. So yeah, so in this specific tier list we're going to be having a look at the World of Warcraft classes. As you can see, we've had some new classes added recently in recent expansions, but the majority of the classes that you see on screen are basically dating back to classic WoW, really. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one in turn and just put a little review on each one, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So to begin with, we're going to start off from left to right. So left hand side is Demon Hunter. Now, I'm going to put Demon Hunter in the B tier because, well, DPS is okay and they also can tank as well, but I don't think I've actually tanked on a Demon Hunter yet, but they are a good class really. The movement is very flexible as well because they've got the ability to glide, and of course they do like to slice and dice with their warglaives really. And what other weapons they've got, but usually it's warglaives by default. And yeah, I do like the Demon Hunter. It's mobile really. You can shift around in raids and dungeons and stuff. But yeah, I think there is a little bit of a balance really between the pros and cons, if I must say, because I know that the Demon Hunter does have its quirks a little bit, and yeah. Anyway, that's what I think anyway of the Demon Hunter. Next up, we've got Death Knight. I'm going to also put this one into B tier because, well, I know that when it comes to DPSing, they're not as good as I hoped when Shadowlands came out. Maybe because of the fact that they've done a little bit of nerfing on it. This is Blizzard, by the way. Yeah, I don't really see Death Knight being an A tier or an S tier, but it may go into A tier soon. I don't know, but yeah, I think with Death Knight, at least their advantage really is they get their own kind of proprietary mount by default, and they also have a spell called Army of the Dead where you can summon ghouls and stuff, and you can use those to fight by your side, really. And yeah, but for tanking, it's okay, I'd say, but I wouldn't really see myself tanking as a Death Knight, even though I have done it before, but yeah. Anyway, that's Death Knight. Druid, I'm definitely going to put that into the S tier. Because I really love the Druid. It's one of my favourite classes of all time. For the sole reason of being able to shapeshift into different, creatures and stuff. Like for tanking, bear form, DPS, moonkin, and cat. And for healing, a tree. So, yeah, that's why I like the Druid most of the time. But again, there's a lot of balance, I'd say, with this class. Because you can actually, mix and match, really. You can have, obviously healing, tanking, and DPSing combined, really, which is, I think, very, very flexible, really. If you don't want to tank maybe on one particular day or one particular raid night or something, you can go DPS. That sort of thing. I mean, I know that when you're playing as the balance spec in Druid, the Moonkin is quite OP in parts, but I think, to be really, really honest, I love the tanking on this. It's just fantastic, really. So, yeah, that's why I'm going to put that in the S tier. Hunter, I'm going to put that in the A tier, only because of the fact that, yes, they are quite good in PvP, and also the fact that they are able to target basically invisible mobs and stuff, really. Yeah, it's probably one of the most easiest classes you can actually play if you're new to WoW or if you're getting into WoW. Yeah, That's what I think anyway on the hunter. It's got obviously the advantage of obviously having multiple pets as well. If you're a beastmaster, you can have 2 pets at once, and yeah, that's what I think about the hunter. Mage. Now I'm going to put the mage in the in the C tier, only because when Shadowlands came out, they actually nerfed the mage, and they've made it a lot more, as they call it, squishy. I.e. because the armour that the mage has is only cloth. Even though they can deal quite a lot of damage in terms of spell casting, their movement speed isn't really that great unless you've got the blink ability, which I think is the only thing that would actually help. Or if you've got like some boots that you can enchant to kind of turn them into like fire boots, and you can just jump up and down. But that's all you can pretty much do really with the mage if you're trying to like have a bit of movement in the class, really. I mean, the advantage really with Mage is that you can create food and drink for people in dungeons and raids, and you can also be of service when people need to have a portal to like a certain destination that they can't get to, maybe in the portal room or so. What I mean, over the years, obviously, people have been asking mages to make portals for them. And yeah, but the reason why I'm putting it in the C tier is because they've really nerfed the mage, if I'm really honest. They've just let it go like right down. Therefore, if they were to kind of up the benefits and also a bit of flexibility with the mage, then obviously it may go into B tier next time. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I think about the mage anyway. Monk, I'm going to put that in the B tier. This is a very martial arts kind of class, really. It's melee, mostly. And again, just like the Druid, you can be any spec, really. Tank, DPS, healer. I don't really think the monks are designed for healing, if I'm honest. But I know that their DPS is very overpowered. And you can actually, have a lot of movement as well, just like the Demon Hunter, really. Yeah, that's pretty much what I think about the Monk. It is a nice class, and I've played it before a couple of times, but yeah, if they actually allowed for a bit of balance in the healing side of things, or maybe even on the tanking, then yes, it would have gone into the A tier, but we'll have to see about that. Paladin. Right, this one I am going to put... well, actually, I'm going to be a bit generous. I'm going to put it in the B tier, because I know that when I tried to tank on a Paladin, it didn't go well, i.e. because of the fact that there wasn't a lot of, let's say, rotation and reaction time, really, in the tanking of the Paladin. But DPS is okay, and also you can heal. I've healed on the Paladin before. It's okay, but yeah, I think really if I was to go Paladin, I'd just go DPS, really, because that's what I mainly use it for. But yeah, that's what I think about the Paladin. Priest. I'm gonna put this one into, well, I'm gonna actually be a bit honest with this one and put it in the C tier, because even though I know that from speaking to people who have played Priest as a healer, I think for me there's not really a lot of difference, really, if I'm honest. I mean, Priests were healers pretty much dominantly in Classic WoW, but I don't really see myself playing Priest as much because, well, I think it's because of the fact that sometimes with some of the spells, the cast time is a lot longer. But again, it's skill and rotation, let's say, preference, really. And yeah, I know that you can customize it and what have you, but yeah, I don't really see myself seeing Priest get up to the A tier or the S tier for that matter. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. Rogue. With this one, I'm going to just be a bit generous. I'm not going to put it in the D tier, but I will put it in the C tier, i.e. because I think they're a little bit squishy as well, in parts. I know that with my Rogue that I have recently created a couple of years ago, he isn't really, well, my rogue isn't really built to what I'd hoped he would be, or she rather, depending on what kind of gender I put on the actual toon, as we call it. But yeah, I think with rogues, they're okay for PvP, but I don't really see a lot of dominance in the rogue, even though I think in one of the recent patches, before Dragonflight came out, they did do a little bit of upgrades on the rogue, but not as much. So the rogue is kind of losing its popularity, if I'm really honest. But yeah, that's what I think about the rogue anyway. But unless they decide to improve it, then this is why it's in the C tier at the moment. Shaman, I'm going to put this one in the B tier because, again, it's another OP class, just like the monk. I like the chain lightning and the lightning bolt and the earth shock and the frost shock and all the other bits and pieces that come with the shaman. I know that someone did tell me that in vanilla, shamans used to be off tanks, which is quite rare, if I must say. But apparently that was a thing. But anyway, I didn't really believe them at first, so I just kind of assumed that they were just, you know, DPS and healer, really. But I really like the shaman. You get to basically put down totems, and you can use those to heal other players in your party. And yeah, they make really good raiding classes as well. Yeah, that's what I think about the shaman anyway. Warlock. I'm going to put that into the B tier again, because actually that was actually one of my first ever classes I started to work on when I first played WoW. I played a gnome warlock called Red Gordon, I remember his name. Yeah, I really enjoyed that class because you could cast spells, you could spawn demons, you can conjure health cookies, or fell health stones as they call them. I mean, people usually call them cookies, and you can create like a stage portal for raids, so that if all of your raid members are in like one instance and you want to just get to the boss and people are coming into the group, then you can just create a portal, which is like a stage kind of symbol for you to summon them, really, which I think is good, rather than having to go out of the instance just to get people summoned, really. So I think that's what I like about the Warlock, especially the Chaos Bolt as well, if for those who are familiar with the Destruction spec. It's very overpowered, and I really like it, actually. Yeah, it's a nice, easy class to play with. I think, really, if they made it a lot more powerful compared to Shadowlands, then that would definitely go in the A tier. But it's not quite there yet. Let's just say that. And then finally, we have the one and only classical class that we know and love, which is the Warrior. Now, I'm going to put that into the B tier because, well, I know that they're pretty much the classic tanks, really, if you will. They can't heal, obviously, which is as expected, really. DPS wise, if you know what spec in terms of DPS you'll be, deciding to go down, they are really, really good. But of course, it's very dependent on what kind of concentration you want to go down, whether it's PvP, dungeons and raids, or that kind of thing, really. But yeah, I think with Warrior, it's nice and foundational if you want to get into tanking, really. Even though when I was playing as Druid, when you're in bear form, you technically are a warrior because of the stats and what have you, and also the health bar and the rage. But if you want to go old school, then definitely go for warrior. But yeah. Right, so that concludes this video on my WoW class tier list, and I hope you enjoyed it. So I'd like to thank you ever so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a comment down below. Follow me on social media as well as twitch.tv/SpiderRebel. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye and peace out.